Okay, so in this video, we're actually going to start talking about how to solve inequalities. And we're going to first focus on adding and subtracting problems. So when we did equations, we learned that as long as you do the same thing to both sides of the equation, you don't really change anything about the truth of the equation. Let's say if the same thing holds true when you're doing inequalities. All right? So if you have 4 chicks and 1 chick, of course, 4 chicks is more, right? So the sign is facing this way. Let's add 2 chicks to both sides and see if the sign still holds true. All right. So now you would have 6 chicks and 3 chicks. And that is still true that 6 is bigger than 3. So the sign stays in the same direction. So it seems if you add it to both sides, the same quantity, the truth of the inequality does not necessarily change, right? So let's see if this holds true if we subtract from both sides. Let's go ahead and take 3 chicks from both sides. So taking 3 chicks out gives you 3 chicks on the left and 0 on the right, and the sign still holds true. 3 is bigger than 0. So it seems like as long as if you are adding or subtracting, so long as you do it to both sides, the sign doesn't have to change. 20 is bigger than 12. Add 8 to both sides, you get 28 and 20. 28 is still bigger than 20. Same sign orientation. Try again with subtraction. 12 is bigger than 5. Subtract 4 from both sides, you get 8 and 1. And 8 is bigger than 1. Same sign orientation. So, in a nutshell, if you want to get a variable alone in one side of the inequality, you can take advantage of the fact that as long as you add or subtract the same amount to both sides, the symbol does not change. So you can operate much like you would when you're trying to solve equations. Nothing new. You just leave the inequality sign there. So let's see. N plus 6 is smaller than 15, no equal. So if you're trying to do this, and if this was an equal sign, what would you do? You have to get rid of this plus 6 to get the n by itself. And what is the opposite of plus 6? Negative 6. So you want to subtract 6 from both sides. If you did that, the 6 will cancel out, and then you get 15 minus 6, which is 9. So n is smaller than 9. And because the orientation of the sign doesn't change, you now know that you're looking for numbers smaller than 9. So in a number line, you include all the numbers which are smaller than 9, not 9, so it's unshaded and then to the left. Now, you could check if this is right by picking any number that is included on that set and seeing if it checks out. So for example, 8 plus 6, right? If I'm plugging in 8 on the original expression, it would be 8 plus 6. Is that smaller than 15? Yes, it is. It's 14, which is smaller than 15, so it does check out. So you can still do the check step like you would when you're doing equations. Let's try the second one. 4 is smaller than or equal than p minus 7. First step, get rid of the negative 7. How would I do that? Add 7 to both sides. So if I add 7 to both sides, 4 plus 7 is 11. 7s will cancel out, and I will get p smaller than or equal 11 smaller than or equal to p. Now, that means I am looking for numbers which are bigger than 11, right? So you can write it the other way around if it helps. And if you put that in a number line, you'll find that any number that is bigger than 11 would actually satisfy your answer. But because there's an equal sign, it's actually greater than or equal to 11. So the 11 has to be shaded. So 11 should work, and any number after that. Let's see. If I plug 11 over here, it will be 11 minus 7, right? And that, of course, is 4. And 4 is bigger than or equal to 4. If I had plugged in 12, I would have gotten 5. 13, I would have gotten 6. Any of those would have worked. So as you can see, you can add or subtract the same way you pretty much would do equations, except instead of an equal sign, you get the inequality sign at the end, and then you can create a graph to show the solutions if needed. All right, on the next video, we're going to see how this works for multiplication and division. I'll see you guys then.